Right, welcome to a classic film review of 1976's Marathon Man. This stars Dustin Hoffman, Roy Scheider, Sir Laurence Olivier. Now, after the murder of his older brother, a New York history student, here played by Dustin Hoffman, he finds himself and his new girlfriend hounded by shadowy government agents on the trail of a Nazi war criminal who's come out of hiding to retrieve some smuggled diamonds. Now, along the way, we have some great spy play, some fiendish double crosses, and cinema's most infamous trip to the dentist. Let's take a look.
1945, Zell let it be known around Auschwitz that he could provide escape for any Jew who was willing to pay the price. He started out with gold, naturally, but very quickly worked his way up to diamonds. Have you heard any of this before?
No.
They're right here in New York in a safe deposit box. Zell's brother had the key. The only other key was kept by Zell in Uruguay. And now if he has to come out of hiding to use it, he's going to expose himself to incredible risk.
So the 1970s, it's a cliche to say, but really was a great decade for movies. 1976 alone gave us All the President's Men, Taxi Driver, Network, Rocky, and of course this beauty, John Schlesinger's Marathon Man, one of the best paranoid thrillers ever made, where Dustin Hoffman plays Babe, a graduate student and marathon runner who's drawn into shenanigans between US government agents and a Nazi war criminal. Now, the agents in question here are the kind that step in to do what the FBI and the CIA can't, such as trade information with former SS members. So when Roy Scheider's agent becomes a target of the Nazis, they believe that his dying words to his brother Hoffman may feature vital information, and as such begin hunting him down. Now, the plot here sits just the right side of convoluted. It leaves us and Hoffman as in the dark as each other, drip-feeding us information which keeps the plot moving forward and creates an atmosphere where it's kind of impossible to tell who can be trusted. Now, the plot kicks into gear when the brother of Dr. Christian Zell is killed, and the man who was known as the White Angel of Auschwitz must travel from his hideout in South America to New York, and here he has to access a safe deposit box full of diamonds. Now, it's funny because the 70s was an interesting decade for Nazi war criminal movies. Films like The Odessa File and The Boys from Brazil being the other examples. Now, enough time had passed for these people to be approaching old age, although it's notable that as recent as 2022, I think, 46 years after this film's release, a 97-year-old German woman was convicted of being an accessory to the murder of more than 10,000 people, she having worked as a secretary at a Nazi concentration camp. But anyway, in that key Nazi role here, we have Sir Laurence Olivier playing a former dentist who removed the teeth and the gold within them from the inmates of Auschwitz. Now, it's a hard role to play because for the sake of taste, you don't want Olivier to be a pantomime villain, even though men exactly like him truly existed and committed such outrageous atrocities that probably made fictional movie villains almost redundant. Here, Olivier is calm and professional, but as we see in a few key scenes, never too far away from accessing shocking violence.
I know who you are, you murderer. I know who you are.
And you can't discuss Marathon Man without discussing that scene in which the old dentist interrogates Dustin Hoffman with only one question.
Is it safe?
You're talking to me?
Is it safe?
What's safe?
Is it safe?
And I'm pretty sure that repeated line's pretty much burrowed into the minds of everyone who's seen this film.
No, I should think it would. Should take better care of your teeth. You have quite a cavity here. Is it safe?
Look, I tell you, I can't do it.
It's an amazing scene, of course, both Olivier and Hoffman firing on all cylinders. Hoffman's great acting in the film, sometimes overshadowed by Olivier, I think. I mean, both actors were from such different backgrounds and both used different methods. Hoffman certainly gets to be all showy and shouty and excels at being all beaten up and on the run.
What about my father?
Well, he was H.V. Levy, for Christ's sake.
Yeah, and he's been dead for 20 years. And he was innocent, so what are you saying to me?
I'm sorry.
Come on! Come on! Get off my back! They've been after me for 2 hours!
Only his marathon training and the help of a girl who may or may not be what she seems keep him ahead of the bad guys. Now, Hoffman, of course, starred in both Marathon Man and All the President's Men in 1976, the little show-off, and here teams back up with his Midnight Cowboy director, John Schlesinger. Now, Schlesinger blends a cocktail of tense thrill machine and complex drama here. Roy Scheider's spy elements are almost a movie within a movie.
S'il vous plaît.
The The Dentist Chair rivals most horror films for its unsettling, anaesthetic-free medical torture angle.
So, I'll just drill into a healthy tooth until I reach the pulp. Unless, of course, you can tell me that it's safe.
And its supporting cast excellent, with the beautiful but surely dodgy Martha Keller as Hoffman's girlfriend, who says she's Swiss, of course speaks French but is actually German.
I've made all this up. There is no Mountain Rosa in Verbier, and there is no Claude Lesueur. You're not Swiss. What are you? What are you?
Can't you guess?
Sure, German.
And William Devane, of course, plays a slippery government agent who was pally with Hoffman's brother, but who's surely not to be trusted, and is actually pivotal in the film's excellent mid-film twist. Now, Marathon Man's also a great 70s New York film. It's got some fantastic location work, great shots of Central Park and the Brooklyn Bridge, etc. And of course, we have a chunk of the film set in Paris, so we have some of the Paris Opera House and other locations to give it that globe-trotting spy thriller vibe before things take a bit of a darker turn. Now, I'll be honest, I've never been a big fan of the final act of the film. No spoilers, but I feel Olivier's character goes through an odd change once he lands on 47th Street's Jewish diamond district. Here he's blinded by his greed and risks his identity in an attempt to value his diamonds. And then onto the film's Central Park showdown finale. It's almost a bit too Hollywood and jars a bit with the film that precedes it, in my opinion. So 1976's Marathon Man sits right up there with that 70s paranoid golden era, mixing post-Watergate paranoia with the chilling ideas that Nazis were still around, living off the spoils of their evil deeds. The film does require a fair degree of patience. The sometimes murky first half keeps you guessing as to who is to be trusted, and with films like this, that's half the fun, chasing the plot around from Paris to New York. Now, Marathon Man was based on a 1974 bestseller by author William Goldman, and it got Sir Laurence Olivier a Best Supporting Actor nomination, which I always thought was a bit generous. But I suppose his presence here is so unsettling and affected so many people that you have to appreciate it. Now, it's definitely a film to seek out if you're a fan of thrillers in general, and certainly a movie that defines a time in 70s cinema. You have to remember that Star Wars was only a year away and everything was about to change. And without a doubt, a film that will cause your heart to race the next time you're in the dentist's chair. Go check it out.